But I think, we're making progress. We're installing a lot more offensive plays and defenses and in the kicking game. But, we're further along than we were in the spring, which is expected. But what's become evident is the off-season conditioning and the summer work has helped us. I think our movement's better. And that's as a broad-based observation, but encouraged. Nobody went down today, so that's encouraging also.
What have you seen? Again, I know you're not even in shoulder pads yet, but has anything stood out, whether it's a position or some individuals that in these first couple days to you?
Well, I think a little bit more speed in the secondary. Of course, like you said, we're not in pads right now, but I'm particularly pleased with some of the young freshmen, their athleticism. And that's a spot, Robert, where typically younger guys have an opportunity to play earlier because it's a skill position. But there's some guys in that group that can really run. And, in our conference, speed is going to be paramount importance. And so it's good to have some depth there. Now, they don't know where they're running to, but they're running fast.
You mentioned yesterday how this elevation obviously played a factor when you were at with NDSU.
Correct.
Do you feel like coming into the fall, you guys are at a place with conditioning and everything where you can grind teams down like you want to?
Well, first thing we'll do, and I'll get to that answer here, is we got to grind ourselves. And I talked to our football team out there that we need to be a great fourth quarter team to take advantage of the altitude, and some of that comes into play. I know last year, if you just look at the numbers, and I know it was last year, but the third quarter, you're chasing points so fast. Sometimes you're out of things. Our game plan won't be such that if we're down 35 points going in the fourth quarter, that's not a good situation. But we need to have the game within the field goal going into the fourth quarter to where now the style of offense we play, the style of defense, and then the elevation that will come into play. And I don't think over the last several years maybe we've taken advantage of that. Some people on the outside may not think it's a big deal. I personally lived it, and it is.
You mentioned a lot about the leverage in this defense this year. You do have experience, and is there any indication? I mean, you still like to do it. Do you feel like you got the, by the time the games start to play, that you'll have those pieces in place? There's experience, but I know they haven't had a lot of success. Or you still feel confident that you're going to be able to do that?
Yeah, we are. And not to make bold statements, but I think experience does make a difference. And they don't have a complete understanding of our defensive scheme yet. But when you're that old, you played a lot of football. We need to take advantage of that. We'll have to certainly hone some things down in our game plan to make sure we're playing well against Montana. I can tell you when you have those guys that have played that much football, they want to be good. And there's fundamentals that they need to be able to gravitate to. I was talking to Mark Nazachek today. Many times everybody's complaining about tackling. And, they can't tackle, you can't tackle. Well, a big portion of that is just fundamentally being in the right place, in good position. And that's going to allow you to make better tackles and have more gang tackles around. And so we're working hard on that. Coach Stannard is a very experienced coach. We've got experienced coach on defense, and we're making progress. It's only day 2, but I think that's really going to be important, Robert, to understand our football team and leverage the strengths that we have.
Coach, I noticed Oscar Neverman wearing white today. Is he changing positions?
Yeah, we moved over, and I was telling Tim as we were coming up the steps, he even ran down a guy and punched a guy from behind the running back, and the ball squirted out. And I'm sure ball security is something he's always thought about. So, he's had an opportunity to play, from what I understand, on some special teams. He's got a body that we're trying to find different spots out there to get everybody out there to be able to contribute. And I guess try to project and eke out every amount of talent that we have on our team.
Is he about the only position change
right now? Okay. Always during fall camp, there's some. It's not wholesale changes. If there's wholesale changes, that means things are not going to be great. But there will be some position changes as we go through fall camp. Not drastic ones, but stay tuned, and we'll keep you updated on that.
Is it line? Okay.
Yep.
I wanted to ask, too, about there's a freshman that I noticed today, A.J. Hodgkins. And I know that he played fullback and linebacker in high school. What did you see for him?
Well, we felt like, we've got a lot of senior linebackers.
Right.
And so in that recruiting class, we need to supplement this freshman class because while Robert had addressed it, we've got a lot of experience out there, a lot of experience after this year's going out the door. Mm-hmm. And so we need to plan for the future, and that's part of the plan.
And no, I haven't seen Stu Williams amount, and I know he said he's here obviously, but you guys are doing something different with the kids.
He's not in fall camp. He's kicking on his own.
Mm-hmm.
It's unsupervised, and I'm sure there'll be a time that he'll be integrated into fall camp.
Is it something based on him, or is that something to get other guys in so you can evaluate them before, or can you comment on that?
I can't comment.
Okay.
We want to have 105 players, and the NCAA has, you have 5 days of acclimatization, and you can replace a player on the 105 squad if they're injured after, during fall camp, if they can't compete, or if a guy leaves the squad. And so, it's been my experience through the years, our experience through the years, during some time you're going to have some of those things occur, and for us to be able to bring in a guy, the challenge is always now you bring in a guy that hasn't gotten acclimatized, he's 5 days behind.
Right.
Because you've got to wear all the gear and do all those things. Kickers are very important.